forecast first. Sponsored by Natax Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
And a beautiful-looking sunset here over Champaign on the roofing dugout at Adams Memorial's camera. Nice color to the sky, a few clouds dotted across there as well. But overall, it was a really nice day across central Illinois. We've had, again, the sun that came back, clouds a little bit thicker down across far southern Illinois and Indiana. But overall, the day has been very comfortable with temperatures in the upper 30s. Now falling down to the low 30s in Champaign, 37 in Effingham, 35 in Springfield right now. If you're going to be heading out and about through this evening, you're going to see those temperatures begin to cool down a little bit more. We're talking about maybe some teens. We'll show you what to expect coming up. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
Former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich served more than half his prison sentence tonight. Why President Trump says that's more than enough and let Blago go free.
And the whole building was full of smoke, and I was just like, we just got to get out of here.
More than a dozen people had to escape a fire. Find out where they're left now.
They're running, they're screaming expletives.
And trying to start fights where some teenagers are making shopping dangerous.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 6.
We have commuted the sentence of Rod Blagojevich. He served 8 years in jail.
President Trump let former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich go free. Good evening. I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. The former governor and his wife have been pushing the president to let him out of jail for nearly 2 years now. Tonight, the president granted their wish against the wishes of Illinois Republicans. Our Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell is live outside the governor's office, where reaction is still coming in tonight. Mark, what can you tell us?
Jennifer, good evening. This is not the outcome Illinois Republicans wanted. Frankly, it's not the outcome Illinois Democrats wanted either. Remember, Rod Blagojevich gave their entire party a black eye, and you can't find a Democrat in these halls who will come to his defense even to this day. Some will say that 14-year prison sentence was a bit steep. It was a big prison sentence after all, but in the end, President Trump used the former governor's case to prove a point.
There was a prosecution by the same people, Comey, Fitzpatrick, the same group. I saw that, and I did commute his sentence.
Former Governor Rod Blagojevich and his wife Patty pleaded with President Trump for years on cable news, in op-eds, and on social media, making the case that overeager prosecutors flexed their muscle and unfairly put a governor behind bars. With his own impeachment trial now behind him, the president granted leniency to the convict who he once fired from his own reality TV show.
President Trump is probably the least credible person to make this decision, given what he's done over and over again, to thumb his nose at. One of the core principles of our democracy is that no one is above the law.
Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, a Democrat, and House Republican leader Jim Durkin both criticized President Trump's decision. It comes at a time when Illinois government is once again under the scrutiny of federal prosecutors.
His sentence was appropriate. Why should he get special treatment than some other people that have been sitting in the Department of Corrections for drug offenses for, are getting 30, 40-year drug sentences, but they're never going to see the light of day or any type of relief from this president? It's just because of the celebrity of Rod Blagojevich. 5 Republicans in Congress issued a joint statement saying history will not judge Rod Blagojevich well. Leader Durkin warned the president's move could depress Republican turnout at the polls in an important election year. I guess he's not concerned about the state of Illinois for next November, so, yeah. Newly installed Senate President Don Harmon had a major hand in the Blagojevich impeachment. The Democrat said one key thing still bothers him to this day.
It would be a lot easier to stomach if the former governor had shown any contrition at any point along the way. But I think Donald Trump models a behavior where you never apologize or show contrition for anything, and it seems he's rewarding people who behave the way he behaves.
Tonight, Governor Pritzker tweeted his condemnation of that commutation. He said it condones corruption and it sends a wrong message at the wrong time. Illinois Senior Senator Dick Durbin has said in the past that 14-year sentence was too tall, too steep of an order, but he denied, his aides denied, that he ever lobbied President Trump to commute this sentence or cut it short. He also took this opportunity to call for cleaner government, namely that all executives and public officials should release their full tax returns. Tonight, no indication that President Trump or Governor Pritzker, for that matter, will take Senator Durbin up on that challenge. Jennifer?
And we should say he's still not out of prison. All that video was old.
Well, correct. We know that there are news cameras there hovering, waiting to see if and when he gets out of prison, how long that process takes, when he gets home, but we still are watching closely to see when that might happen.
Okay, thank you so much. So, how did we get here? Here's a timeline for the last 13 years for Rod Blagojevich. He was first elected governor in 2002 and re-elected in 2006. In 2007, federal agents arrested him on corruption charges at his Chicago home. In January 2009, the Illinois House voted 114-1 to impeach Blagojevich, the first Illinois governor in history to be impeached. The Illinois Senate then voted unanimously to remove him from office. In April of that same year, Blagojevich was formally indicted with 5 co-defendants, one of those his brother Rob. In 2011, it took 9 days for a jury to find him guilty of 18 counts, including trying to sell or trade President Obama's old Senate seat. In 2012, Blagojevich reported to that Colorado prison you just saw to start his 14-year sentence. That sentence ended today. More than a dozen people have to move out of their Decatur apartments after a fire.
Investigators say last night's fire was probably caused by electrical issues. The building at the corner of West North Street and North College Street is not safe until those issues are fixed. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting joins us now. So, Courtney, where are those people staying tonight?
Well, Paul, in the meantime, some will stay with family and others in hotels. The American Red Cross is stepping in to help them with living expenses in the meantime, but some say they feel stranded.
And the whole building was full of smoke.
In a split second, Julian Delaney went from making dinner in his new Decatur apartment to searching for a place to stay.
I heard a knock on my door, and all I know is that there was a fire going on, so I exited the building as fast as I possibly could, and, just trying to be as safe as possible. I freaked out and was just grabbing everything that I could bring with me. I grabbed like a whole case of water, was trying to figure out where this fire was and put it out myself.
David Banks has been living there for 3 years. He wasn't home when the fire started.
When I got here, it was like people standing outside, and it's like, what's going on, So when I got to the front of the building, it was, seeing fire and smoke.
It wasn't long after vacating that they found out they'd have to pack their bags. A city code inspector said they shouldn't stay there until some electrical issues were corrected.
This isn't safe for people to be here overnight just because of electrical fire, so it could spark back up on its own if it wanted to.
The Red Cross gave the 16 residents money to cover living expenses.
They gave us a little voucher for a little room. We'll see how far that goes.
Though the cost is covered, some say it's hard not to feel overwhelmed.
I'm frustrated. I'm pretty sure everybody's frustrated because, like I say, we got to move out our stuff.
And the people I talked to say the vouchers from the Red Cross cover about 4 nights worth of rent. Luckily, they say family will help them in case they have to stay out of their apartment even longer than those 4 nights. Reporting live in the newsroom, Courtney Bunting, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
It's good that they have somewhere to stay. Hopefully this all gets resolved quickly. Courtney, thanks. Some in Macon County say a group of teenagers is causing problems for businesses in Forsyth. They say they are stealing, vandalizing cars, and pulling fire alarms, and now deputies are trying to step in and stop it. Kids usually start gathering at Hickory Point Mall. After they leave the mall, employees say they often head to nearby businesses like McDonald's or Red Lobster. The Macon County Sheriff's Office has added patrols around the mall area. DeWitt County is making changes to its emergency alert system and making the switch to get the most out of your tax dollars.
They have a new provider for their emergency alert system, and it's going to keep the community even more informed. WCIA 3's Jamie Mays is with us. Jamie, that all sounds really great. Why was the change made?
This new system provider was cheaper, but it also has another benefit. DeWitt County and the City of Clinton changed providers for their emergency alert system about 2 months ago. They had the same one for about 10 years. The system is used to put out notices to the community on things like boil orders or, in rare cases, gas main leaks. This new system is able to send out nationwide alerts for the community, and that's something they were not able to do before.
When we figured out that we could basically save half of what we're paying, have virtually the same product when you're done, it's all about taxpayer dollars, and if you can save a few pennies, you save a few pennies.
Farmer City did not make the change. They stuck with the one they had been using. And the city administrator says they're not saving a large amount of money, but it will help reduce what the city and county spend on that service. Back to you, Jennifer.
All right, Jamie, thank you. Farmer City did not make the change. The city says they got their own system outside the county a few years ago, and it's been working well. It also gives them some autonomy from the county when they need to send out notices to the community.
The Illini are trying to stop a 4-game losing streak. The latest as they tangle with the Nittany Lions in State College.
And also tonight.
Roger said, when you're talking to each other in a film festival line, you're not strangers anymore.
And now we know what those people will be waiting in line to see. Find out what some movies are showing at Ebertfest this year.
High temperatures today, heading back above the normal reading. We hit 44, 34 was the low, and again, both of those running above average, so a nice day overall. Things are going to turn cold the next couple of nighs, so we'll have to talk about that. Sunshine, quite a bit of it in the forecast this week, and then when we'll see a little bit of that rain and snow return to the area coming up.